Hey guys. Sorry about that. Just had to get on to check to see how things were going. So we're going to. Oops. What the heck? I am sorry about that. We are going to look at a Wesley So game versus Eric Hansen. And this is 2017. It's a French defense, the Winier variation. So we're going to take a look at it. We're going back to the French defense a little bit. And I'm going to also later on do one with Fabiano Caruana. So let's see what Wesley played. E4, E6, D4, D5, Knight C3, and Bishop E4. This is the start of the Winier. Remember, the start of the French is this structure here. After this, goes into different lines, like that's the Winier. E5, remember we talked about why that is. You can actually take, if he plays here and takes, it takes, you actually take there and you win. Then all you gotta do is play there and you protect your extra pawn and go on to win in the endgame. Knight E7. Because that prepares, if queen was to be played here, that prepares so that the rook can come, if must be, or castling potentially. You know, there's a lot that could arise out of this sitch here. So, A3, A takes, B takes, C5. And by the way, that's a this is actually the line of the Winier that was if it was to be played. And then what you do then is play here, and then if he plays here, you can, even if you wanted to play knight first, there's that idea, or bishop, depends, probably knight. And then if takes, and if takes, but actually I apologize, my bad, I forgot, it's actually queen to c7. I don't know why I forgot that. I haven't gone over it in a while. So queen, and let's redo this whole line. Okay, so here, and what would be is played here, I'll show you. And then if here, there, takes, and remember, if takes here, smack, you got the rook. So you can't take. They usually play knight to e2, and then you take. And at this point, f4 usually is played. Knight b, c6. Queen moves back, and then you could play d4 if you want. There's a couple lines you could play over here or there, but just wanted to show you what potentially could happen. Like that, that's kind of a sideline that usually isn't played, so it's kind of one of those side, but it goes into the same line, just a little different. And h4 is normally not the move that's played. It's usually queen to g4 or knight to ef3. Sometimes they'll play bishop to d3, which is an okay move, but not the best. h4, questionable. It pushes Harry, and he wants to he knows that black might be castling queenside. I apologize, not queenside, kingside. And he wants to get his pawn close enough to wrecking his structure so that if he castled, a queen might be able to slip in with mate. So c7, so he's going with the plan. h5. At this point, h6 is imperative. You do not want to let, like greed happen and takes. And then let's say you move here. You don't want that. Trust me. Because then you have to play that. Now you got a weakness here and here. So just keep that in mind when he goes h4. And then you go queen c7, h5. You play h6 at this moment. h6. Remember that. Knight f3. Bishop b6. Bishop b6 prepares for the trading, of these two bishops. He gets rid of black gets rid of his weak bishop, and white, and for white's bad, black's bad bishop gets traded for white's good bishop. Therefore, slight advantage for black. Check. And see, that's why you're thinking, why doesn't he take? It'd be foolish to take, because then you can take back with the knight, and after these takes you have f6. Let's just say like bishop here, f6. So just be very careful. Bishop b6, and then d3. Bishop d3 is played. a4, huge attack. This is a giant. This is important. This locks the pawn to the queen, which makes the queen not very important in the sitch. It ties down two things. It ties down the bishop to the protection of this pawn, the queen, and it's just awkward now for white's pieces. Bishop d2. Because the bishop would love to be either here or here, somewhere in the attack range, like there maybe. Knight dd, he's getting ready to castle, a6. And then potentially you have takes, and then you get this pawn rolling. e1, rook e1, b5. Now he's trying to trade and get this structure going, and then after takes, this is a weakness. This will be a weakness forever if trades, which that's what happens. Takes, and it's kind of like forced, otherwise you get an odd structure. A queen e2, castle, queen takes. Hey, hi. Queen takes b5, rook a5, queen e2. This is Wesley So as black and Eric Hansen as white. Game. Rook to a4. He wants to get off of. See, there would be a discovery here on the rook, so he wants to get off that and then maybe double up. g4, rook a, f8. Bishop c1 to hold the pawn. So he's tied down two pieces. C takes d, c takes d, and then now the rook has implanted itself, and potentially we can have an Alekhine gun, and with formation like this. c6, because now you see how each Wesley's taking advantage of each weak point in black's camp. White can't push because he'll lose the pawn on c3. So this the bishop's going to have to. Oh, he did push. Wow. Huh. Then he has to attack. This bishop move here uncoordinates the pieces though. So. Well, Wesley now has a full open file under his control. It is interesting. The structure's kind of awkward, so I'd probably say equal, in my opinion, in this idea, because white is bound to protection. Yes, he's got a bishop, but it's semi-closed. Actually, it's closed because it's this structure here you look at, so it is closed. and knights are better in bishops, so maybe it's slightly better for black. I changed my mind. A5, and now the knights are going to just start jumping all over the board, making this bishop feel uncomfortable and sad when it should have. The bishop should be along this diagonal here. Now it's a really sad bishop. Yeah, this is a but see, one thing about the knights in closed is you can actually reroute them like here, here. Actually, wait, can we? I'll say here, here. After he plays there, you can jump in there and fortify the. He's going after b3 for the attack on. And also his rook's on a light square. So everything's pointing to a slight advantage for Wesley. Now the Alekhine gun has been created, and it's time to launch it into action. First of all, he wants to, when the rook takes, he wants to re-implant it with the other rook, and then probably queen c7. And he'll have a really strong battery, potentially maybe even pushing. There's a lot that Wesley has here. King g2, b5, smack. That's a really good move. It not only frees up, protects it twice, so that if that takes, you'll take back. I'm sorry, if this takes, you can now take with the pawn. But it also frees up a spot for the knight to b6, to go to b6, and then into a4, attacking the bishop. So it's, and now there's an attack here. This is an interesting. I think he's getting ready for if this bishop was to move. Bishop c1, and he also protects that pawn. Queen's now sliding in, so this is crazy an attack for Wesley. This is big attack, majorly. Rook d1. Eric is basically guarding with all of his life the weak point of d4, because if that falls, Wesley has a passed pawn, and it will not be very pleasant for Eric to deal with that. So, pawn f4. We talked about in the London, not London, sorry, London's on the mind. In the French, there's 2 breaks, and now Wesley wants to crunch this spot. Yeah. And that's what he's doing, is he's getting everything. You're exactly right. The last 8 moves favored Wesley. You're correct, because every move that he played slowly benefited him over a long distance. That's why closed games are more static than dynamic. It may take you that one move that you need to it may take you 8 moves to get there, but it's the winning 8th move that gets you the one on the other side. Takes, knight takes. Now this is, Eric has basically lost. This game's, in my opinion, over almost. It's basically done. There's really no hope for Eric, because once Wesley gets a knight into e4, and then he jumps it in, there's a fork. Wesley's position is rock solid. Eric's position is he's holding on by a thread. He's a great player. It's nothing about that. It's just his position is so hard to defend. I wouldn't want to be white, let's just say. And so this is, now you get to see the power of the Winier French. It's huge. If you know how to play it correctly, it's devastating of an attack. And then now there's a threat of, boom, baby, a knight coming in with a triple fork. Gotta love that. E5, smack, huh? Oh, nice. Actually, I see why he did that. There's that's a sneaky idea. You gotta love that. Hey, they all come up with moves to counter other moves. E, B, knight takes it. Yep. Now Wesley has created two center pass, well, one pass pawn, but two center Isolantes. Takes, E takes. And now he's going for the knockout. The knockout 1-2 punch. He takes, and now when the king takes, you have rook check. And let's see, where can he go? Smack. Let's see if that's right. See if there's a KO there. Let's go back. I want to see. Yep. Smack. So then he goes back here. Yeah, it's basically over because what will happen is we'll probably check. Okay. Yeah, he's going to have to intercept here, and so that's. We'll just say that we'll just for play purpose we'll just say that he pushes. You have check, and then you come in with knight, and then you get mate. So the bishop has to intercept, and then he takes, and then knight takes. And then now you're going after this pawn. And this pawn's gonna fall, yeah. And then it's game over. So we're gonna go through the Caruana game now. Or do you have any games that I'm willing to go over a game if you guys have a game you'd like to go over as well, or if you guys want to do tactics, just let me know because I'm more than happy. Yes, White resigned back on. Let's see. I think he resigned here, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's when he resigned, but he did quit. I kind of pushed it out a little further, so I think he resigned after takes, with when the check happened. You know what I thought after takes? I was thinking that he would jump in there, grabbing one of these rooks, but if you could do a takedown, a knockout, go for the knockout. So like check, just go for the KO. So we will. Hold on, I gotta get a drink of water. No. Okay. This is the advanced variation. Oops. Gotta turn the board so it's black. There we go. We haven't gone over the advanced. We've done the Tarrasch variation, the Winier, and we haven't done the advanced in a while. So we'll go over an advanced game. These moves are like just standard. You can go all the way out to move 5 without even thinking. You just and so your 5 moves. That's why a lot of players that you're going to be facing are going to be advanced players. They're going to play the advanced French if you do play the French on them. So and with the French, you have to remember that in the advanced you have 2 breaks. You have the F6 break and the C5 break. So keep that in mind. But you want to be careful when you do the F5 break, because if this queen has access like this along the diagonal for a check, and the knight's here, be very careful when you do that because you can get really tore up. You may lose a rook. So just be very careful when you push f6, but just get ready to build up for that. Because then if you push f6, this diagonal gets really loose. Just make sure that you keep that in mind when you want to break with f6. Queen to b6. This is the old standard line. This is a more of a flexible idea because then you're passing the move to white. If he plays here, he could play here. He potentially could even play there if must be. And there's even been a3. a3 in this situation is really bad. Really bad. It only works if you have your queen here. a3 works. That's the only time when it actually works. That's why a3 is played, because a3 is ready. You want to go b4 and implant your bishop to b2 and undermine the potential attack on the pawn here. This is kind of a prophylactic idea. There's f6. So right now, when this is played, you have to smack right back. He's getting ready to smack you on b4. You have to be ready to hit back hard, because when he plays that, you want to break the center up like there's no tomorrow. You want to crunch it. Just think crunch in the French. Crunch, crunch. You want to crunch these guys like Pac-Man. You want to eat them up. Sometimes you even have the ability of sacrificing to get a mega center. There's been a lot of games where you sack the knight for 2 pawns, but it's the pawns in the center that count. They're like the front line of a football team when your front line breaks and you're the QB and you see these monsters of guys coming at you, and you know what's going to happen next. You're going to get hit pretty hard. That's basically what the knight sacrifices itself for. So on my game, my opponent always plays bishop f4 or e. Rarely they try to put it on. Oh, I gotcha. Right, I see what you're saying. I gotcha. Yeah. But potentially, if that's played, like, and then he has here, and so. But first, you actually want to break here, here, and then there. It's an interesting position, and there's a old main line that we'll go back here, like what you just said. You can play here, or there. I've had the b2 played on me pretty regularly because b2 covers this whole pawn chain for white. So this is a old main line. That's a way of doing it. If you didn't want to do a3, you can go bishop to e3. That's an idea. Some ideas have been like bishop d3. That's an idea. So, but usually, which is kind of strange that he didn't play b5 right away. Well, go figure. c5 or c4. Bishop c2, and now the knight's gonna jump, and he doesn't mind if this trade happens. It's not really good for you. You don't really want that trade, because potentially you can just leave the bishop there and just go smack, and you've won a pawn. You're attacking the rook, and this bishop, if it tries to come back, you just snap a rook off. So it'll have to, the knight will have to move, and then what you do is you snap that off. And then if he tries to like attack here, you just go smack. Now the knight's pinned. Income, and then you even have the ability of marching those pawns in. It's just like, it's a monster of a, you just don't want to take. Trust me, I've had that pulled on me, and I smashed. It was like devastating of an attack. And for some reason, they always think that because they take you here that you have to take. They forget about the b2 pawn. The b2 pawn is the one of the most vulnerable spots in the French when they play a3, and they allow c4 to be pushed. It's pretty vulnerable. So now if this gets traded, you can actually bring your bishop out. You can take with your bishop now, and this is still hanging. Everything is horrible. So b3 is basically forced at this moment. So he takes b, bishop takes b3, g7, c4, and he's trying to take advantage of the placement of black's king that's in the center. But what he doesn't understand is he's playing Fabiano, so you know how that is. And then castles. And now I would probably say let's take stock of the position. I'd say that probably black has a better of advantage, maybe like a 0.3, 0.5 pawn advantage, because he has one thing that white doesn't have. He's got a dark squared bishop, and since this is going to end up becoming an open game, these two pieces will reign supreme over these guys, because knights are short ranged and they would want a closed game, not an open game. So Caruana understands that. So he just jumps in. He wants to trade off so that he'll get these versus this. And white rightfully doesn't. He understands that if he allows a trade-off like that, it's going to be a problem. Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, trust me, when this looks kind of dangerous for white at the moment, black at the moment, but it's not. Once he gets these guys traded off, he's actually in an advantage. Oh, on a4, let's take a look. We'll see what we'll see. It doesn't like a4, queen a4. Queen a4, I believe is, yeah. Surprisingly, the move that Caruana played was pretty good as well. This put him up like half a pawn. So we were right. We were right, guys. This right here is a half a pawn. We were right. We were right. So we're analyzing correctly. Knight to e4. Queen c7. Yeah. Now this is going to be attacked twice. This is defended. So this is not looking good for Caruana's opponent. In comes the knight, but that's a fake outpost for right now, because that, I mean, it's an outpost, but it's not supported. It's gonna fall, and see how he's trying to protect it with everything. Once that pawn falls, this knight is toast. And now he's trying to trade off and win a pawn. So this is getting interesting, very interesting here. Now he wants to trade off and put a queen there or a rook there. This is getting intense. There we go. And now he is threatening check, threatening the knight, rook e2, and let's see what the computer says. Interesting. Black has an advantage now. He's got this pass pawn, and the king's off this light squared, so now everything should be good. H. And then the rook comes smashing in. Now there's a threat of rook check, and when the king moves up, queen, and there, and you know, there's a lot. Actually, you can't play there. I'm sorry, I forgot about that. G4, smack, there comes a check. And then Fabiano he just comes crashing in, man. And at this point, his opponent, White, resigned because I don't think there's any way that. Let's see, what is the computer? Oh, wow. What if he guards? Oh, mate in one. Wow, who'd have thunk? So, who'd have thunk that? Let's go back. I want to see what the proper moves were. Let's see. So that's correct so far. So it says smack there. Okay. Still, he's up a, wow, crunch. I just wanted to see what this looks like. Yeah, it's over. There's way too many pawns here. That was a great game. Hold on, let me pull up a, come on. We'll pull up a tactic board and we'll do some tactics. We did, I wanted to do games from our two candidate players. There we go. Let's see how we're doing here. Okay. Okay, ship it in. Or post it in. Oh, gotcha. Let's take a look. Oh, Wilhelm Steinitz. Louis Paulson. Okay, oops, I gotta pull this up. Okay. Copy. Let's import it. Let's exit that. Okay, turn off the engine. Yeah. So Wilhelm is interesting. The Russo spy men attack. Spyman attack. Huh. That's an interesting one for sure. Knight to E3. Oops, I'm sorry. We should turn. No, Wilhelmsman is white. Let's see it from black's perspective because we're trying to learn from the French. Even if this may be a loss for black, we still want to see how white handled the sitch here. Different play style, isn't there? In 1879, 1873. Yeah, that is true because he's going to play here because this allows for the exchange. It's really these guys in the beginning before they got into like what you're saying, Will Steinitz and all the modern systems. They would just smash each other, just like crush each other. That's how it would be. They'd be like there'd be mass exchanges. They didn't understand like the pawns were important. They would just throw them down the board and say, you know what, it's for one purpose and one purpose, opening the position. I don't care about an end game. I'm going for the KO early. But there were some players that just understood, and the players were like Paul Morphy. Paul Morphy was kind of ahead of his time. He understood principles 100 years before his time. So because he knew that pawns were important. He also knew that if must be, sacrificing a piece to get pawns rolling is important. That wasn't considered back during the growth in chess understanding. They would rather sack a pawn than a piece. So that's what made him such a world champion. He should have been the first world champion, but they didn't have it at the time. So he got invited to like all different things in Europe. He went to the kings, all different kings and queens and banquets. So he was like popular. He did in like a year or two. He just took over everything. He crushed everybody, and like Matt, he's like. And then what? The coolest thing is he was a rich man. When he won a pot, he would actually take the money that he won from the person that he faced, and he would do something for their family because he had enough money already. It wasn't about the money. He wanted to help others out. He enjoyed playing chess. You know, that's the whole thing. If black went to rook d8 check instead of bishop to d7, was white's plan king White plan c3. Okay. Takes. Okay. Yeah, you see how kind of the players just were careless about their structures. They didn't much care what happened. They were okay with a structure like this. It was like nowadays we would say, hey, you know what? There's a problem in an endgame when you have something like this. But then we would look over at white and say, yeah, but white has two isolated pawns, so what we gotta, is it such a big deal? Well, depends on the player, I guess. All right. Black's going for the pawns. Yep. And there we go. Now they're starting to get their pawns rolling. Now we're going to start to see some good endgame play. Oh, he's sacking a pawn. I see why. Because if he takes, which he does, takes. And do you see though? You see the interesting thing about this sitch that Steinitz was kind of cool about? He didn't instantly take back. He understood that the pawn on c2 was his most important endgame advantage. And he knew that this pawn wasn't going to be going anywhere because he had enough. He had a rook and a king, and he had this well powered structure that this wasn't going to, the e pawn wasn't going anywhere. So he said, you know what? I'm going to take a second. I know that he's going to have to play either f4 to get this going, or f5, sorry, to get this protected. And he's going to have to do something, so he plays f5. Yeah, it's forced. That's actually a forced move, because that's the only thing that's going to protect. And then now he's just gonna, he has the protection, and it's gonna be an interesting game for sure. Now that white has these two choke points, it's just a matter of time before he actually consolidates everything. And he may even bring a rook over. He could even infiltrate in if need be. There's enough material to do that. He can even play rook king b5 and get his pawn going that way. So there's just a lot. Interesting. So black let him in. Wow. Wow, that was a bad move. Very bad. I guess he doesn't have anything to do. Yeah, I think that's probably, you're 100% right. I believe that this is probably the best, but remember there is a potential. But he queens with check, so interesting, huh? Can you imagine these players saw all this all the way out? We can do it too. But Steinitz saw that even if this type of situation happened, he would queen with check. That's cool that they can see that far out. And game over. There's there's really nothing that he can really do at this. Maybe here, but then white has a free hand to play king to d6, and does black have really anything anymore? No. So his best back here, his best opportunity was a6, like what you said, Fox. A6 was the best. Is basically his probably only chance But Stein saw all the way to the very end that a rook can get here, and then the pawn would take, and then it would queen would check. So he saw all the way to the very end on that. Good game, very good game. But it did, see guys, it does show, do you see how chess has changed in principles so much since the 1800s or 1900s, around in there, that they just didn't care about their pawns. They just like flung them up the board. Nowadays we would see a6 and say, you know what, potentially black has the idea of holding, something like that. Yeah, he'd have to infiltrate in, like what you're saying. It's an interesting sitch for sure. Like potentially he's got here, um, and then white's gonna black's gonna run out of moves eventually because he's in Zugzwang right now. With this move here, it did a Zugzwang, like what you're saying. Exactly. But it's the it was his best shot out of the lot. Now, white's gonna have to give something. Black's gonna have to play back, and then now you can play in there. Rook b6. Rook b1. Yeah, you can. That's an interesting. And then you let that go. So probably rook to c1 is forced then. And now he's in true Zugzwang. There's really nothing he can do. Because if he pushes, he loses. If he moves his king, let's just say he moves his king, he just brings his king in. Now he's in Zugzwang again, and so it's even worse this time. Yeah. Okay, we'll take a look, and then yeah, it works too. Yeah, you're right. Well, that isn't interesting. Let's see. I don't know. This allows that guy to run. I see what you're saying. I see if he plays here, you can take, yeah, and then takes, and then let's see, rook b1, gotcha, and then pawn oh, king, okay, rook b1. Yeah, because he's gonna end up losing that pawn there, and then it's probably a draw at this point. Maybe black, maybe white's better. But rook to c1 actually holds everything. You're wanting to hold this structure because this pawn locks down everything. But for a while it does. For a slight while it does. But eventually black's gonna have to give away something. So like if he moves his king, let's see what we could do here. We can move our king in. No, we don't want to move our king in. Yeah, I think this does hold now that I think about it. Well, maybe he can undermine black's structure. It takes. and if he plays there, something maybe like that. Maybe that was Steinitz' idea to get 3 pawns. Maybe that's what it was. But that was a great game. We'll do some puzzles now. Love those puzzles. That was a thank you for the game. That was a stellar game for seeing where chess has come from and where it is now. So that's cool. Okie dokie. Let's see what we got here. Hold on. Let's just go to move 9. Thinking either there, either here with the discovery and the queen, or potentially maybe knight takes e4. What do you guys think? So do you guys like the d5, pawn d5? What you guys think? Because we need to get some things a rolling. So you want to give it a shot? I don't really see anything better than that. Maybe I don't like that. Maybe here, maybe that's better. And then we can take. So you like the knight takes or the pawn push? Which one, guys? We have to all agree because we wanna work together as a team. All right, d5. I like it too. And now we play queen takes c8. Correct, guys? Are you guys with that? I think so. Yeah. Let's go for it. Let's give it a shot. Now we take here and we win 4 points. Yay. Yes. Good job. I think we can actually win this night if I'm not mistaken. Let me see, because if we play here, potentially he'll probably take. Yeah. Yeah. I think queen a5 check. No, you're right. Yeah, he blocks there, so let's see here. Just one sec. Let me go to 4. I think that queen. I think we could actually take with the queen, because even if takes here, we have a check. I don't know. Yeah, that's right. He has a discovery here, so that's why if we takes there, so yeah, that's actually good. I like that. That's a good move. What do you guys think? I think that's the best. What do you guys think? Let's go for it. Yeah. Yes. Good job, guys. Let's see here. Trying to see what we got here. I think we got a check, and I think we win the knight. So if we check there, we could actually win the knight with the bishop support. What you guys think? What you think, Fox? Are we all in on Queen E7 check and then when the king moves, we take on c3. What you think, guys? I got one yes. Look, yeah, all right. So we're 100%. Okay, so now do we, yeah, let's see. I just want to make sure that is there anything that he can do? Nope. No, there's not, because we could take, let's see. Yeah, I think that's... There we go. There it is. There it is. Gotta love it. We're seeing it. We're doing it. Good job, guys. Keep it up. Keep up the good work. Oops, I gotta... There we go. There we go. Gotta sit down a little bit. Do 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 do. Huh. Let's see. There's a potential here and there, but I don't know if I like that. I liked, oh, right here. Hey guys, look. This attacks there and protects there. Let's do it. What do you guys think? Or should we move the queen? Rook g2, rook a6, queen h6, g6, rook takes g6, f takes g6, queen takes g6, king e1, actually it'd be f1, f8, queen h6, and then king e1. So yeah, I can see that, but so you like rook g1? Huh. Is it? What if he plays here though? What if after rook g1 he plays g6 though? What do we do then? Because that's we're predicting that he's gonna play something like, oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, he's got to he has to move his rook, doesn't he? Huh. That point, yeah. Yeah, yeah, that's right. Huh. I think you're right on that. Let's see. Yeah. So what you guys think? Rook B1? I see what Fox is saying, because what's gonna end up happening is maybe there'll even be another sacrifice here. I'm not sure, guys. I either think that it's here or there. I think it's right. Because I think we win it after he goes to E1, E8. Sorry, E8. We actually can. Well, E8. Can he intercept with his knight though? When I do Rook G1. Let's give it a shot. Yep, that's right. Wow, good find. Yeah, good find. That was a good find for sure. Good job. Okay. Let's give it a shot. Wow, he says it's even powerful enough to sack the queen. Because it takes here. You're threatening mate 4. So it's forced. Yeah, we have to. At this point, you gotta push for mate. It's a forced mate at this point. Yeah, nice find. Nice find. Oh, you want to check sack rook on... okay, let's give it a thought. Let's give it a check. Here, let's take a look. If we sack here, I think it's equal. Actually, I think it's better for him. Yep, there we go. And he's actually better at that point. Wow. Tide turned. Ouch. That's why move combinations are huge. There we go. Did that help with everybody wondering about the queen sack? Because we're here to learn. That's the whole thing. And as we learn, our points increase because we get stronger and better. Oh boy. Let's see here. So if we check there. Yeah, that wins the rook. Are you guys with me on that? Because it, boom. And then if the queen intercepts, smack, we got that rook. You see, here and here. And if the queen goes there, we got it. Hey, are we all in agreement? Yeah, alright, perfect. 4 points. I'm so happy they gave us some fun ones to do. They usually give us all these difficult, and then they give us almost no points for them. So but hey, you know what? I'm not complaining. Let's see here. Do we win another piece? Don't tell me we just take there. Let's see. Does that actually work? Is that right? Am I seeing that correct? Rook takes G5 and that we win a bishop? Is there am I missing something? Oh, Snikes. Sneaky. Yeah. Huh. Interestingly. Yeah, I believe that's right. Here. Well, it takes. Yeah, you're right. That does work because we're one move out. We're one move. And then if he tries it, we slide over. Yeah. Wow. Let's see here. Did we get in behind? Did we get in behind H4? There's that. Huh. What do you guys think? Because the reason I was asking that is after here, let's say check, let's say we move up, and let's say he moves back, we can actually play an attack here with 2 rooks. I like that. Because what'll happen is if he checks, guys, I'll show you. Let's say he goes back here. Let's say he goes back there. We drop in there, and he goes up, and we take here, and we win. Nice. Nice job, guys. We're doing it. We're keeping it up. We're on the upward trend. Let's see here. Yeah, I agree. Let's see. The tension is building in this position. We have to take, I think we have to take here. That's just what I'm seeing because he has this idea there. We maybe could play, no, we have to, because he's threatening here. What do you got? You see this, guys? What do you guys think? That's a threat, and that's a threat. And then if we take here, queen takes. We like queen. We can't go queen g3. Yeah. What do you guys think? Takes? Because here and then there, and then push. I like that idea. I think that's the win. Because what this does is it removes what's after takes. If here we play e5, and then after here we take, and now the knight's being attacked to the bishop. Now first we gotta take here. Oh, okay. Okay. Now this is interesting. Okay. Okay. Oh boy, boy. What do we play here? Oh, knight b6. Okay. Oh no, it's another one. It's like, oh man, what do we do now? It's like, really? Oh, we win the rook. So I think we win the rook, right? I want to make sure I'm doing this right. Let me see there. Yeah, we're up in exchange. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm probably gonna log off for tonight, guys. We're gonna stop on an upward trend. Thank you guys for all the help. We're getting there. You know, we got, let's see, 7 greens, and so we'll pick up here next time and with a couple games. Like, I'm thinking about doing. Would you guys like me to? Which player would you like me to do the French on? And I'll write that down, because if you guys have any players that you know that are really good in the French, just let me know, and I'll write it down right now. Because I'm more than happy to do games that some of you guys would like to look at, or players that you would like to look at. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, okay, we'll check out that gentleman. I'll write his name down. Okay, and I'll make sure I'll look up to see. Yes, there we go. Yeah. Okay, so I'll take a look at some of these games with that gentleman. So with that, thank you guys for all your help, and we're building up our rating. Those were fun, and so as Wesley So says, serve the Lord Jesus. As I say, God bless, guys, and I will see you next time on Chess Cruncher TV. Remember, study chess, keep moving forward, only look back to learn. And as Colonel Hannibal Smith says, there's always a player in the position. And we proved that it was rook to g1 on that one puzzle. Bye bye, guys.